She stood on the empty platform, clutching the bouquet that started to wilt, just like her hope. The train had come and gone, but he never arrived. Her fiancé, the man she thought was her future, had vanished without a word. People around her walked past, unaware that her world had just shattered. With tears threatening to fall, she whispered to herself, why didn't he come? But just when despair gripped her soul, a familiar voice called her name. She turned, stunned, to see a man she had once helped. A single dad holding a little girl's hand, smiling like fate itself. Emily had spent weeks planning this moment. Every detail, from the dress she wore to the bouquet of lilies in her hands, was chosen to mark the beginning of a new chapter. Her fiancé, Daniel, had promised they'd leave the city together and start fresh in a quiet town where love could bloom without distractions. She believed him, trusted him. Standing on that platform, watching the train screech to a halt, her heart raced with anticipation. Soon she would see his face, feel his arms around her, and leave behind everything that had ever hurt her. But as passengers spilled out, her excitement turned into confusion. One by one, strangers passed, reuniting with their loved ones, while Emily stood frozen. She checked her phone. No message. Another train came and went. Still nothing. Minutes became hours. The flowers drooped, just like her spirit. People stopped glancing at her hopeful face. They knew the story. She'd been stood up. Her chest tightened as reality sank in. Daniel wasn't coming. She tried to call him again, but his phone was switched off. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through their messages, searching for reassurance in his words. "I'll be there, I promise," he had said. A bitter laugh escaped her lips. Promises? What a cruel joke. As the cold wind swept across the platform, Emily sat on a bench, hugging herself for warmth and comfort. Her mind replayed every moment they'd shared, wondering what went wrong. Did he change his mind? Did he ever love her at all? Her tears fell silently because crying out loud would make it real. She thought of leaving, but her legs felt too heavy. She couldn't bear going back home to face the pitying stares of neighbors who believed she was about to marry the perfect man. She wanted to disappear. And then, just as her heart surrendered to despair, she heard a small, cheerful voice. "Miss Emily." The name jolted her. Slowly she lifted her gaze, and her breath caught. There he stood, a man from her past she never expected to see again. Noah, the single father she had helped months ago when his daughter had fallen ill on the street. Back then, Emily had stayed with them until the ambulance arrived, holding his little girl's hand and promising everything would be okay. They had shared a brief conversation, exchanged gratitude, and then parted ways, never thinking they'd meet again. Now Noah was right in front of her, holding the hand of a bright-eyed little girl with curly brown hair, the same girl she once comforted. The child's face lit up. "Daddy." "That's the nice lady who gave me the teddy," she exclaimed. Emily blinked away her tears and forced a shaky smile. "Hi, sweetheart," she whispered. Noah's eyes softened as he looked at Emily. "I can't believe it's you. Are you okay?" She opened her mouth to answer, but the words tangled in her throat. Was she okay? No, she was broken. But she nodded anyway. No didn't believe her. He saw the bouquet, the tear-streaked face, the loneliness in her eyes. He didn't ask questions. He just sat down beside her. His presence was warm, steady, a sharp contrast to the chaos inside her. For a while, they said nothing. The little girl hummed softly, playing with her doll, unaware of the storm raging in Emily's heart. Finally, Noah spoke. "Whoever made you cry doesn't deserve you." His voice was calm, but firm, like truth wrapped in kindness. Emily felt something shift inside her. She wanted to break down, confess everything, but instead she laughed, a hollow, fragile laugh. "Life has a funny way of teaching lessons," she murmured. Noah smiled gently. "Sometimes it's not life. Sometimes it's fate." They talked. About everything and nothing. About his daughter, about work, about how cruel and beautiful the world can be. Each word was like a thread sewing her back together. For the first time that day, Emily didn't feel abandoned. She felt seen. When Noah offered to walk her home, she didn't hesitate. And when his daughter slipped her tiny hand into Emily's, something inside her whispered. This wasn't the end. This was the beginning. Days turned into weeks, and the memory of Daniel faded like a shadow at sunset. Emily didn't erase him out of anger. She simply stopped holding on. Noah and his daughter, Lily, became a gentle constant in her life. What started as chance meetings turned into intentional plans. Coffee after work, walks in the park, laughter over the simplest things. Emily discovered something about love. It isn't about grand gestures or promises written in the sky. It's in the quiet moments, like when Noah noticed she loved caramel in her coffee or when Lily drew her pictures of three stick figures holding hands. One evening, as autumn leaves painted the world in shades of gold, Noah invited Emily to dinner. It wasn't fancy, just his small kitchen, the smell of home, cooked pasta, and soft music playing in the background. Lily sat at the table giggling as she showed Emily her drawing of a family. Emily's heart melted. After dinner, when Lily was asleep, Noah handed Emily a small box. Her breath caught. She wasn't ready for another proposal. But when she opened it, there was no ring, just a delicate silver necklace with a tiny heart. "It's not a promise," he said softly. "It's just a reminder that you're not alone." Tears welled in her eyes. She didn't need promises. She needed this, honesty, kindness, and love that felt real. Months later, Emily stood on another train platform. But this time, she wasn't waiting for someone to show up. She was leaving with Noah and Lily for a weekend trip. Laughter and excitement buzzing in the air. As the train pulled away, she looked out the window, thinking of that day when her world shattered, only for fate to rebuild it stronger. Sometimes the person you think is your forever never arrives. And sometimes fate sends someone better, someone who doesn't just arrive, but stays.